Hello, my name is 𝗖𝗽𝗆𝗄𝗏 from the Blackford Centre. We have a freelance copywriting diploma course, which would help you if you wanted to get into the industry and earn a living. The video I'm going to show you today is about terrible press ads. I'm showing you them so that not only can we have a little laugh, which is always amusing, but also so that you can learn how to create much better copy. Let's have a look at some terrible press ads. So what have we got here? A life jacket surrounded by a blue carpet and various white clothing items. There's a pair of sandals and there's a white hat. I thought when I first saw this that it must be things that this is a refugee. I can see this. The title says refugees forced to flee. So I thought this was the free things you get if you're a refugee and the rescuers come along and they take you ashore and they give you all this clink. I'm not so sure of that anymore. I wonder whether that's stuff that you take on holiday because you've got this quite striking visual of this orange life jacket, but then it says life jacket price, leaving everything. So maybe it's a sort of like it doesn't cost you much to buy white sandals and a pair of white sunglasses. These people lost everything. Trouble is, it's a bit obscure, isn't it? So you look at the headline again and it says refugees forced to flee. And that is not a headline. That is the title of an exhibition. If you go to this museum, you go in and you'd see a sign saying refugees forced to flee, exhibition this way. So in other words, this is people who like the sound of their own exhibition, but they don't understand that the headline has to encourage people to say, oh, I really want to go and see that. If you look at the body copy below, it says, what horrors would force you to leave everything for the chance of a better life? I think this is kind of much more interesting. Maybe that could have been a headline that says, what would force you to leave your home for the chance of a better life? And then maybe a little subhead underneath that. And then maybe a subhead would say, find the answer at this exhibition. I don't know. And then really that then takes us down to this visual, which I think is simply confusing. It's striking, but it looks a bit manicured. It looks as though someone put all this stuff on a carpet and then took a picture of it. And I'm wondering whether it wouldn't be better to use this life jacket and maybe drape it over a boat that's on the shore on the shingle. You could have pictures of refugees in an inflatable, but that's a bit of a cliche. You get this kind of charity tiredness or whatever it's called. You could have a life jacket just bobbing on the sea, and you think, and that would make people say, why is that life jacket in the sea? Well, because someone's drowned. So that would be quite dramatic. It would look less manicured. It would look like more real life. So, we've got lots of logos here. We got IWM top left-hand corner. IWM bottom right-hand corner. We've got the word visit IWM London. Then it's got Imperial War Museum London. There's just rather a lot of this stuff, isn't there? And what is this business about the heart and the speech bubble and send this and bookmark? This is not an online ad. So why would you have that waste of space? Why would you distract people? Get rid of all that crap. So it needs a better headline. Again, the question is asked here, what horrors would force you? Questions are always good as a headline because then you force the person to say, okay, what would force me? So question's good idea. Nice strong headline, less manicured visual. Altogether, this really could be so much better, couldn't it? There is much to like about this this ad. Have you noticed that it has a very strong diagonal, starting from the far left where you've got the new building being constructed, and there's the diagonal of the top of the the building and it's pointing, look at our car, look at it. And then you've got the big picture of this fuck off vehicle, which is no nonsense. And then you've got slightly below the vehicle, you've got the guy. He's a bit of a short ass, really, isn't he? Beside the, maybe that's unfortunate. Maybe there's just the van is very big and it's high. But anyway, you do have this diagonal. The headline is a bit unfortunate. New transit trail. You know, this is the client saying, just tell them what the product is. But they put the product right slap bang and large in the middle of the product. And I think, you know, the guy on the right, he's a no nonsense kind of guy. He's got something he's going to bash the building with. And I think this is aimed at people who are those kind of people or who aspire to those kind of people. And there is nothing this man would like more than to come on site with a shiny brand new vehicle that really tells the world who he is. But New Transit Trail doesn't really tell us very much about the product, does it? If we go down to the body copy, it says work wherever work takes you. I think that's quite a nice, potentially nice bit of a headline. You could have, if you really must have, New Transit Trail in small letters across the top. And then in bigger letters, you could have the words work wherever work takes you. Now, the question is, what is work wherever work takes you? And if you have a look at the body copy below it, it says mechanical limited slip. I don't know what mechanical limited slip is. Limited slip, it means you're not going to fall down the bank very much. Differential for the rough of it. Is this something to do with if you're going down a bank, it'll go down at the speed? I don't know. I worry that you use jargon words, and I'm not sure that a construction worker would know what vehicle mechanics mean. I just think it would be nice to have a bit more explanation, but maybe it's just because I'm a word kind of guy and I like people to write things. SUV for the look of it. You can't fool me. That's not an SUV. That's just a fuck off van, isn't it? And then we're with you on this journey. That's rather peculiar, isn't it? I mean, it's a strapline. We're with you on this journey. It's a rather nice strapline because there's a bit of a pun in there because we're saying you go on a journey when you go to work, but it also means you're on a career journey. You don't know where the future lies and you're hoping for promotion or you're hoping to get bigger clients. So it fits slightly unevenly there because the first 3 lines of the body copy are about the vehicle. It has mechanical limited slip. It has differential for the rough of it. It has SUV styling. And then all of a sudden the subject changes to us. We're with you. There's also a Ford logo, which is nice, and then Backbone of Britain. Well, I suppose it says that's code 4. We sell an awful lot of these vehicles. They don't actually make them in Britain, but people don't know that. So altogether, it's a slightly wasted ad. It's bold, and it's bold because it's going to people who don't want fussiness. But I think the headline could clearly have been improved and the body copy could have been improved as well. So yeah, could have been better. From that very minimal Ford van ad to something that's completely at the other end of the corridor. This is absolutely crammed with words. Let's have a quick look at all the goodies we've got here. There is this Highland cattle. Don't know if cattle is. Can you have one cattle? Highland cow or Highland bull with big horns in the grass, and there are mountains behind. So this tells you what you're going to get. 2021 maiden no-fly wildlife British Isles expedition. Yeah, that's a bit hard to get your brain around, isn't it? It's got a date. It's got no fly, it's got wildlife, it's got where it is, it's an expedition, and it's a maiden voyage. And then there's best-selling it. That's kind of complicated, and it doesn't really tell you anything very exciting, does it? But hey, look at how much copy we've got here. You know, the whole chunk. Well, let's go down underneath the image. Daily excursions included. That sounds nice. Join the MS more during a maiden season. Why is that a benefit? I mean, okay, maybe no one has slept in that bed before, but saved additional up to £75. Well, okay, that's a money off business. Launch savings. Yeah, we've already know that. Drinks, gratuities, Wi-Fi included. That's good. I like that. Then you've got book with confidence, and there's a whole chunk of stuff about buying confidence. Surely it could just say, you know, here's a logo that says you're guaranteed to get your money back. We won't spend your money and you get it back if we go bust. Then underneath that, you have the places you go to. And I wonder really whether this isn't really where the headline could be, because you're getting to all these rather exotic places that are difficult to get to. So wouldn't the headline be something like discover secret places in Britain that other people will never see? I mean, you're selling a dream here of the wildness of the country, that you could come back and tell people all these exciting adventures you've had meeting Highland cattle. You can't hear what's included in your exclusive reader offers limited promotion. Actually, there are some interesting things here. You get all meals included. Yeah, but we know that. Oh, well, we know the drinks are included. Now they're also throwing in the meals. Tea and coffee throughout the day. Free Wi-Fi. We know that. Free wind and water resistant jacket. This is not a life jacket. You will not fall in the water. This is just a jacket. Or maybe it's not a life jacket. Actually, it's a thing with a logo on it, isn't it? So I think they could probably give us that in more in bullety form, really. There seems to be a lot of duplication in this ad. And then at the bottom, your incredible reader offers limited launch prices. With there's prices, there's 7 prices, and there's 3 columns telling you the grade of the cabin. You don't need to tell them this. You know, Ford did not take us around the back of the van and swing open the doors and say, look how much space there is. That'd be quite nice to do. So surely you just say prices from $3.99. I think if they got rid of some of these words, they could sell the dream more. The ad is really just telling people, why don't you learn a bit more about this holiday? You don't have to tell them everything about the holiday. My guess is that these people slightly older because they want to go on a cruise. It seems a bit more of an adventure cruise, but you have to, so they won't all be old. So you've got a telephone number. I would have liked that telephone number to be a bit bigger. It's lost way down there, isn't it? It's lost amongst all the social proof. And there is a URL, rolcruise.co.uk. They could have had a bigger call to action. There you go. Could have been a simpler ad. Could have made more of it. Has all the making of an interesting ad, but it's just too much going on, isn't it, really? Have you ever worked in an organization where some boss person from some stratospheric level, a million levels above you, sends round some email about something that the corporation is doing, and it just doesn't mean anything to you? This is what this looks like. It's almost, you see that headline that says Curry's PC World, rather sad juncture of 2 separate brands. And the fact that it's not a headline, it really looks like it's just It's just like some corporate memo. And then we have a headline. We're ready to help. We're keeping customers and colleagues safe. These are two separate things, aren't they? We're ready to help. Sorry, how are you going to help me? Tell me. And then you then go on to say, we're keeping customers and colleagues safe. It's a bit like the staff are our most important asset. And of course, you know they're not. We're keeping everyone safe. Well, why do we care? If you're a colleague, i.e. a shop assistant, then you might want to know what they're doing for you. Keeping customers safe. So, you know, it doesn't really mean anything, does it? And he's then got this wodge of text here with this sort of throat clearing stuff. You'll have seen that the government has announced a new la 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 la. So it's if you notice how wide the line length is, if you have a line length this wide, it means that people got to start reading here, and then they go here, and then they go here, and then they go here, and then they got to come back to start, and they go back here. Line length shouldn't be really more than about 75 characters, including spaces, wide, because otherwise people find it hard to read, and if people find it hard to read, they're not going to read it. And the very fact this has been laid out, they've just taken the office memo and they've slapped it down, and they said, there you go. They probably got the newspaper to lay this out. So little did they care about it. So, could anything be done about this? If you were to look up very closely, it says in England, Monday, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, stores are open, later opening hours. And then there's another paragraph that says from Thursday to 5th, you can only order online. And then things are different in England, in Wales and Scotland. And then you've got a returns policy. And then it's all crap about saying a thank you to all their colleagues. And then thank you to customers. You know, I think I'm the only person who's ever read this, and you may be the second person on the planet to ever read this. Why didn't they have so nice pictures? Why didn't they have a picture? If they say we're open, our stores are open, couldn't you have a nice picture of their store? A welcoming picture? Say, that reminds me, I want to buy a telly. I'd better go down before they shut. And then the second paragraph area says, and then then you can order online. So you would have a picture of, I don't know, something that's a close-up of the website or something rather, with the same thing, buy online, reduce prices or something rather. But you could really have had, I hate to say this, less copy and more information. Sometimes less is more, isn't it? The headline really is beyond redemption, isn't it? I think bosses are increasingly minded to write all these words down, or get some flunky to write all these words down, and then send it out like it's a corporate memo. You know, this really should have been killed at birth. It's awful. So this has been Terrible Press Ads number 4. We had a look at the museum exhibition ad where they titled the exhibition as a headline and that striking visual of the life jacket, which was very confusing. Then we had a look at the Ford van with all that automotive jargon that didn't really tell us what the benefits were. We then went on a boat trip around the UK, crammed with words. Never seen so many words in all my life. You know, 𝗪𝗏 Shaw talked about the need to kill your babies, by which he meant trample on all those words of yours. Get rid of them because you've probably written too many. In particular, it's important actually to get rid of your first paragraph often. The first paragraph is often the most boring. Get down to the second paragraph, things become more interesting. And then finally, we had the Curry's PC World corporate memo. That was simply beyond redemption, nothing to say. So if you liked this, there are lots of things you can do. You can click the like button. You can subscribe to the channel, which means you get many more interesting copywriting tips. And you can go to our website, which is listed below this video. You can sign up for our diploma in copywriting, which will set you on the road to becoming a professional freelance copywriter.